I'd like to welcome everyone to the conversation where we talk about everything Cowboys. My favorite team, your favorite team, America's team. Here with your host, Coach Marv.
Cowboy Nation, how are you doing? Friends, family, everybody who's out there in the airwaves that we're coming to. We're coming to you from YouTube Live. We're coming to you on Twitter or X. And for the first time, we're coming to you on Facebook. Facebook is the first time I'm coming to you live, hopefully through my Facebook channel. And hopefully we're getting a lot of people that's coming in that's going to tune in that may have not seen my show on Facebook before. This channel has been going along for about, I want to say, for 4 or 5 months now, if not longer than that. We've been on YouTube, we've been on X. You can follow me at Coach Marv. Real Talk on my YouTube channel, as you see up here in my logo there, Coach Marv Real Talk. You can see that I have 180 videos that's already on my channel. You go to that channel, you can probably go to my playlist and see a lot of the videos I have done on Cowboys and watch parties I've did with Cowboys, as well as some shows with North State football, as well as watch parties of other games. Giving a background of Cowboys football, some of the coaching things that I've done. A lot of people say that I have a vernacular for being a coach and have did that before, and just try to give a very good view for the people that's maybe following me on Facebook or looking at me on Facebook right now. Not a delusional Cowboy fan, a true Cowboy fan for life, but not a delusional Cowboy fan because I understand really football. But I still love my team, and I still think my team is America's team because we're the most polarizing football team and most polarizing organization in sports, which that makes us the America's team because when we are polarizing, you either love us or you hate us. And we welcome anybody that comes in, if other football organizations or football fans to come in and chime in, because you understand that I love to talk football, talk sports in general. So that's for my new fan base that I'm coming to you for on Facebook Live that I haven't there. From time to time, I still will come on Facebook Live, but if you want to follow me, again, Coach Marv, Real Talk, and if you want to follow me on X, it's Coach Marv 1914. You can follow me on X at Coach Marv 1914. Just want to come on in as I always do on some of these days, and we want to talk a little bit of little things about what's going on in the Cowboy Nation right now in the rumor mills that's going around the NFL. We did a show the other day about the recap of the Super Bowl, and we talked about in my show. If you look back at my show from a couple of days ago, if you go on my channel, you see my show and talked about DNA, NFL DNA, teams DNA. And, I explained some of the DNA of the Cowboys organization, which some of the people don't want to really understand the DNA of a football team. And the DNA, as we talked about earlier, is basically what every organization has. Every organization has a DNA. You can try to get away from it, but it's there. For my Pittsburgh Steelers fans out there, Pittsburgh has never played in the Super Bowl, or never been in a championship game or a Super Bowl, won a Super Bowl, lost a Super Bowl without a top 3 defense. And without a top 5 in the game. I mean, not a dominant running game, but a running game who's in the top 5 in the NFL and a top 3 defense, either number 1 or number 3. But they have never won a Super Bowl or played a Super Bowl without that. So regardless of how much offense it is, they got to have that. The Cowboys have never won a Super Bowl or played in the championship game or won a Super Bowl in the 8 Super Bowls they have played in or the 5 Super Bowls they won without a top 8 defense and a top 3 running game. I don't care what quarterbacks that have had, Troy Aikman, Roger Staubach. That's just their DNA. The Cowboys have the most defensive MVPs in football history of the defensive MVPs of the Super Bowl. There's only been 10 guys that won defensive MVP of the Super Bowl. The Cowboys have 4 of those. The Cowboys got 4 of the defensive MVPs of the Super Bowl. And they got a defensive MVP of the Super Bowl that played and we lost the Super Bowl. Chuck Allen was the Super Bowl MVP when we played against, I think, the Baltimore, and we lost to Baltimore. But he was Super Bowl MVP on a losing team. So if you look back at our DNA has always been defense. There we got a lot of big names on the offense, but our DNA is when we have good defense, we win Super Bowls. And some of the rumors that's out right now about the George Pickens thing, it's amazing that I get more questions as a Cowboy fan about are we gonna sign George Pickens than from people that don't even care about the Cowboys, say they don't care about the Cowboys, but they worried about if we gonna sign George Pickens. If George Pickens played for any other team, this is why I can say that the Cowboys are America's team. If George Pickens played for any other team, the question wouldn't be that much. His money has went up exponentially because he plays for the Dallas Cowboys. People are now talking about he should get paid top 5 money. They should offer him top 5 money in receivers in the NFL. George Pickens. He's had 2 years in his NFL career over 1,000 yards. He got more touchdowns this year than he had in his previous 3 or 4 seasons in the NFL. 3 or 4 seasons, he only had 7. He got 9 this year. 9 or 10 touchdowns. And I'm not debating about if he's a good receiver, but I'm debating about where do you think somebody's going to make him the 5th highest paid receiver in the league? The guy that's on that list right now put in years of production that was even better than what Pickens got. Years. Not just 1 year, years. They put in production when they were the #1 receiver and they had to put in deduction year after year when teams changed the way they guarded them and they had to say, okay, we're going to have to change to slow them down, and they still put up numbers. George Pickens is a great wide receiver. But if CeeDee Lamb doesn't sit out 5 games or being injured, George Pickens don't have 93 receptions. He don't have 1,400 yards. Doesn't mean he doesn't have a great year. And the craziest thing about this, and with all these rumors out here, I believe the Cowboys feel the same way that I feel. Now, they may feel pressure from our fan base, from the fan base, and I hate to say this because I don't want to ruffle any feathers for any of the fan base, because some fan base is so sensitive these days. We got a lot of fan base out there arguing and fussing and fighting with each other and going there because they're very sensitive. But you got some fan base people out there think that, okay, if you say this, you talking bad about Pickens. And you fronting on Pickens. No. George Pickens is not a top 5 paid. You should offer him top 5 money in receivers this year? Or should you franchise tag him? I to me, I just have, and I had somebody came and said, "Well, you should have paid that." When Dak had put in years of work, years, and when I hear somebody say, "Well, Daniel," they always talk about when we have won a Super Bowl. Well, year in year out, we find that we're starting to see that we just saw this year that Aaron Donald, if somebody says that he won the Super Bowl for the Seattle Seahawks, they would say, no, that's not the case. Teams win championships, not quarterbacks. If you want to go through the NFL, one of the biggest things that can ever, it's two names, three names that I can name. Or four names. I'm going to even go to four names. No, I'm gonna give you five quarterback names. And I'm gonna name these five quarterbacks. And says it's a travesty that they don't have a Super Bowl with victory. And they were great quarterbacks and they put up great numbers in games. Dan Marino, great quarterback. Great numbers. Went to a Super Bowl in his rookie year. Thought he would go back again. Thought it was no brainer that he would win a Super Bowl. Never won a Super Bowl. Now I'm gonna date myself because some of these newfound fans out there in football don't really look at it. Fran Tarkenton probably went to what 3 or 4 Super Bowls with Minnesota. Never won one, but he was known as one of the first scrambling. Well, a scrambling quarterback at that time. He was well before his time. People don't realize that Fran Tarkenton was the scrambling and the dual threat quarterback. Didn't win a championship. Dan Fouts played for the Chargers, Superchargers. Dan Fouts was throwing for 300 yards a game in the late 80s and 70s, $300 per game. They were playing this many games, and he was doing it when receivers was getting bugged down the field. But he still was putting that ball in the air. But he never won Super Bowl. And for Cowboy fans, and when I always say Cowboy fans, learn your history, Danny White. A lot of people don't remember people don't understand that Danny White had better stats than Roger Staubach. People don't understand that Danny White led Tom Landry offenses that were better than Roger Staubach offenses. People don't understand that Danny White had teams that had offense that was historic when you talk about Cowboys and NFL at that particular time. But he never won a Super Bowl. So when we talk about a quarterback and when we talk about Dak Prescott and we talk about, well, he ain't never won that. How many playoff games? How many you get a history of great quarterbacks that we would say, oh, we wouldn't even say that about. Then we got people like Brad Johnson, Trent Dilfer, Donald. They got Super Bowl. Mark Rifkin. They got Super Bowls. Even Jim McMahon. Is his name Jim McMahon, the Chicago Bear quarterback? They got Super Bowls. And they can't hold a candle to those 5 games, those names I just named for you before. So when we talk about that, we talk about guys that put in work for years. I think Pickens should be compensated very high. But I think the Cowboys should have a number And I think the Cowboys should allow, say, hey, we got a number for you because they got a number. See, this is what kills me about Cowboy fans and football fans. We think that millionaire owners that got a billionaire company that knows the salary cap don't have a number that they have in their mind that they want to pay each player and how they gonna put this together. You think that they just off this this thing on the top of their head. I said this in the last show. The owners know what the salary cap gonna be for the next 10 years. Their accountants and all this are projecting how this is gonna be next 10. Matter of fact, the Player Association know how much the salary cap is probably gonna be for the next 4 to 5 years. Of course. You never do a deal, a collective bargaining agreement with a two billion dollar organization or thing like this, and you can't really project really closely of what the revenues and how it's going to be structured and where the money is going to be for the next 10 years. You don't go in there and say, well, we'll figure it out next year. We'll see. So they already know what the salary cap was going up to. They already know what their structure is. They already know how to work. They have a number already in their mind. So if you got a number in your mind and it's not a lowball number, let's go ahead and negotiate and give that, and then come to the point and say, hey, George, when it's time to get free agent, we're not going to restrict you. We're not going to restrict your right to go out and shop around. We will give you that respect. But we want you to give the respect because we want you here, and we want you to give us the respect to say, if you get an offer out there, and it's a legitimate offer, give us a chance to negotiate you and match because we want you here. But we want you to go and shop around. Find what your market is. Find out if somebody else is going to give you top 5 money that they already know you had a problem in Pittsburgh. That's don't act like it wasn't no problem. And you had a very good year with a dog at quarterback. Because let's not think that being with Dak Prescott did not help you. Go ahead and get you an offer and find out what the market is, and then let us negotiate with you. Let us have a chance to match it. The exact same thing they did with DeMarcus Ware. People forget. They allowed DeMarcus Ware to move on, and DeMarcus Ware came back and said, this is what Denver is offering. And Jerry them said, we can't match that. And DeMarcus Ware went on his way. Let's do it that way. Or go out and get another offer. We allow you to work, get an offer, because we can allow you because we got a franchise tag. And if you find a better deal at a place, then we'll try to trade you that place and get some conversations, because we're not going to match that deal, and you can get your big deal that you want. You can get something from it, and we can move on and have a good relationship. And guess what, Cowboy Nation? We can find another number 2 wide receiver because we got a number 1. And guess what? Our fans will be happy with that if you're transparent that way. But saying about this and franchise tagging him and saying, okay, we locking you into $28 million. Now we're going to put you in the range, but we're going to pay you in the top 5 of the top 5 wide receivers. Come on, man. Are we really going to do that? For number 2? Because I remember this, and see, some of my cohorts out here going to dispute me with this. Some of my guys that I work with on live going to dispute me with this. But I remember for show after show after show, when CeeDee Lamb was in his last year's contract, people asking question after question about, is CeeDee Lamb 88? 88, is he a number 1? And he had to continue to prove it over and over and over again to get that status. And now we're going to give George Pickens that status like that. When his history was not even good at CeeDee Lamb's. Now, one thing you'll find about my show, I don't speak innuendos. I speak facts. And somebody tell me where I made a mistake. If you want to comment, please comment. Like I said, the to-do list is right here on the right hand side. Like, subscribe, go to the YouTube channel, like it, subscribe, go to when you're on if you're on Facebook, give me some thumbs up. If you're on YouTube, go like and subscribe, share this video. If you're on Twitter, um, go ahead and like it and follow me. But it's the truth though, man. We made C. Lamb prove it over and over again. I was on talk shows, I was on people shows, I was on other Dallas Cowboy shows. Every time somebody we scrutinized every time he dropped the ball. He's not an 88. He's not a we went over and over about C. Lamb, and we made him prove it, made him put in year after year till he had to till we just couldn't doubtedly, say he had to do it 2 or 3 years for us to say yes. Now we saying paying George Pickens top 5 money, like he's the number one. I think for a lot of people who try to push TV Lamb to prove it and kept asking that question, then I think we're doing a misjustice. I think we just getting caught up in the hype. And then for people to say, well, Coach Marv, this is something. These can be a duel. Listen, man, we have had great duels here in Dallas. I posted on X a story about Tony Hill. People just don't understand how great Tony Hill was. And he was playing beside a franchise receiver. Miss Jen, go to Facebook and see if I'm on Facebook. I don't put my Facebook account up, but go on Facebook and see if I'm on Facebook and comment back over here. I'm on Facebook and tell the people in the comment section this the like and um, send whatever they can do on Facebook. But we had great receivers in Tony Hill. Play with Drew Pearson. Tony Hill, go on my Twitter account and look at that story about Tony Hill. A great guy that does that. The Logic Cowboy is a guy I follow on YouTube. Great. I wish I could, and I'm gonna try to reach out to Logic Cowboy because I would love to have an interview of Logic Cowboy. Yeah, I would love to hear a Logic Cowboy get a chance to see Logic Cowboy um, and get a chance to get a chance to interview him on my show. He does a great job. Please go if you're a Cowboy fan, go on Logic Cowboy on YouTube. Click on that. If you go on my X or my Twitter account, Coach Marv 1914, you see my video that I put up there. I'm gonna share screen with my video up here in a few seconds. But go to Logic Cowboy. Logic Cowboy does a lot of video. Go to his catalog of videos, and you need to learn. For one, I think for the younger Cowboy fans that just came on to be Cowboy fans, you need to know your history. You'll understand what's going on in Dallas is our DNA. We have always struggled with giving contracts to people. Back Thomas, the running back that won when I was first Super Bowl, number 33. He didn't speak to the media. Dwayne Thomas didn't speak to the media for weeks. That was he won. He was a MVP. Should have been the MVP of our first Super Bowl. Great running back. Didn't speak to the media because he thought he was being traded because the Cowboys wouldn't give him a contract. The great Too Tall Jones left the Dallas Cowboys because he had a contract dispute. And he went to box for 2 years and then came back to the Cowboys because they weren't paying. Harvey Martin, some of the great players back in the day, they have stories to tell you that they always scram them, always lowballed them. This ain't nothing new about certain players having to struggle for their money. This is not just a Jerry Jones thing. This is a Dallas, Texas thing. Now they have paid people, but there's certain people they have made struggle. There's always know your history of your team. You'll understand things ain't changed. The Cowboys have always been popular. We have always had a shining star. That's why we're the star. Now we want to talk, people gonna say, well, that's being arrogant. Well, we have always been the star of the NFL. That don't mean you always won. That don't mean we always been the best team. But we have always carried the popularity because we're polarizing. And if you're polarizing, I can guarantee you I can get more haters to watch us watch every game the Cowboys play than we'll get with any other team. I can guarantee you more people that is not even Cowboy fans know more about the Cowboys than they probably know about their own team. And people say, well, that's because they show them all the time. Well, people, they put stuff on news because they're polarized. So that it's not what you're seeing with the Cowboys has always been the case. On my show, I'll give an acronym about the Dallas Cowboys star. The star I got on my head right here, the star. STAR. That stands for seen, talked about relentlessly. That's what the Cowboys are. They're seen, talked about relentlessly. That's what the star means. We are always seen, we're always talked about, and it's relentless. Just like I said, you got more people asking us about if George Pickens is signed. And I always tell Cowboy fans this. If y'all listen to what these media people are putting out about what they need to sign George Pickens, you listen to these media people talking about if they're gonna franchise tag him or they're gonna trade him for Matt Collins. I'm gonna get into that too. They're gonna trade him for this, they're gonna trade him for that. Remember, most of those people, 95% of those people that put these stories out cannot stand the Cowboys. So what they want you to do is to overpay for Pickens. What they want you to do is to cause controversy and have controversy about Pickens. They want you to have messiness. And then they'll hide behind and say, well, you know something, man, y'all need that. Y'all need that guy. But they want they want you to do that. Because they talk about that more than they talk about their own players. So if there's anybody on this show and they're trying to call me, I'm not going to get that. So, but yeah, they want you to talk about that. So yes, going back to what I'm saying, man, you got to know your history of your yeah, I hope you would know and here it is. Let me give you another and this is what I want because I want when I talk about some people that has some stuff on the show. My man Tyrone Church. You got people out there saying that the Cowboys now, it's very hard. I have never seen, and let's say this. I have never seen a guy on the franchise tag that somebody traded. Now, y'all tell me if y'all have seen, if y'all out there in football land that's on this YouTube channel, that anybody on this YouTube channel that's putting a message in, put a message in if y'all know anybody that ever was on the franchise tag traded. Now, I'm quite sure it's probably possible, but whoever traded somebody on the franchise tag. Because for one, when you trade them on the franchise tag, somebody. Okay, so I thought I was on Facebook when I'm not on Facebook. Okay, so it didn't come on live. I thought we were going to be able to go live on Facebook, but it probably didn't go on Facebook. But I'm still with my fans here. But how can you trade somebody on the franchise tag? Who does that? So now we're talking about trading Pickens. Like, if we lose Pickens, we can't replace a number 2 wide receiver. It's amazing to me that we act like Pickens is Jamar Chase. We act like Pickens is CD Lamb. We act like Pickens is Jefferson. We act like Pickens is being a guy that's been year in, year out. That's not discrediting Pickens. Pickens know this. Pickens know he's coming in his own with this receiving goal. I know it. We talking about trading. Hope somebody do shut that down. I do hope they shut that down. That's just messing it. I can guarantee you that's not coming out of Cowboy lane. This is, and you know something? I don't even think some of the rumors are coming from the ownership. I just think the ownership allows a lot of the stuff to go on. And what I get mad is they don't go out and shut stuff down. They're allowed to fester. And when you allow stuff to fester, it gets infected. It causes infection. Because I think a lot of these stories are people that know the Cowboys are so hot. That if they throw a rumor out there, they know we're gonna jump on it like Marv. And then we have to sit back and think about it. All the stories that have gotten out, and there's been a lot of speed behind it, a lot of talk about it. Most times don't happen with Dallas. Most times they talk about somebody a whole lot. It doesn't happen. Most times when you have big stuff, it comes just like that. The Michael Parsons thing, when nobody even saw it coming. So that's why I'm saying it right now. We don't know. And one thing I don't like about Cosby, you're hiring outside linebacker coaches. You're telling everybody, you're showing all signs with this defense coordinator that you're probably going 3-4. So tell me where the hell Cosby fits in a 3-4. Your biggest thing is your two tackles. Clowney can fit a 3-4 because Clowney can play a 5 technique. That's what he played it up. He played inside a lot when he was at the other teams. He's got to the point where he can play inside because he played the run so well. But Henderson and Max, you're not. You want a 3-4 guy that ain't gonna put his hand on the ground. Yes, we say he can play 3-4, but when you play 3-4, he's 30-some years old. And guess what? Guess what else? Guess what? Man, and we talking about Trey Henderson. Guess what? I'm getting. Listen, man. I'm gonna say this again, and I'm gonna say it till I stand on the roof. And I believe our defense coordinator understands this. More than you need a defensive end, you need your safety room. You got enough guys, you pay 3-4 that you're gonna get to the quarterback. And I believe this guy's gonna build this team just like the defense he built. The defense was built at Philadelphia. Philadelphia was a top ranked defense in this league. you know something. The NFL is built around physicality, and what we're seeing is the teams that are more physical win. The teams that are more physical apply pressure more. The teams that are more physical dominate on defense. They're more physical offenses. They're winning. Everything that the Cowboys talk about, everything that the Cowboys talk about is about finesse football. Everything the fan base talk about is finesse football. We talk about receivers, we talk about pass rushers, cornerbacks, where you need to build on the physicality part. We're building to stop the run with pass rushers. And we can get pass rush. I think Quentin Williams, all these guys will be available to work. We got Clowney show he still get the quarterback. Your other guys are gonna get better. That number 41 is gonna be mark my words. I'm going on record right now. Number 41 is gonna be a star in this league. I'm not spending no money in Trey Henderson. He well over 30. He got injury problems now. Come on, man. I'm not paying him no premium dollar. He past his time. And what we're doing is we're looking for stars. We looking for they gotta have name brand. I'm looking for guys to make their name. I ain't looking for guys that got names already. I'm looking for guys to make their name. And that's what this coaching staff gonna do. That's what the coaching staff did in Seattle. Made names. Made names. And he brought some guys in there like D. Lawrence. But D. Lawrence was a part of the group. And we had guys that made names, and they made names and got famous because they played the right way. But we going 3-4. I would invest into those guys. And I'm gonna tell you this. Let me be honest with you. This the Cowboys got a lot of money that's invested into their defensive line. You think they're gonna add another guy for another $20-30 million to that room? To have and then what you'll do is you'll have the highest paid defensive line by 4 or 5 times than any other team in the league. You'll be way above all the teams that play great defense. You'll be paying way more money than them on your defensive line. You think that they hire the coaching staff that they got to pay for $20 million defensive linemen for that coaching staff for them to be successful. Let me ask you this question. I'm gonna ask y'all this question, and let's think about it. It's the same thing in I told y'all football and life is relative. It's the same. You mean tell me you're gonna work at a company where they gotta pay 7 times much equipment for you to be successful, to be able to supervise and get the production, where every other company that's with you, that's comparable, that's better than you, that's doing it for less, 4 times less equipment, and you trying to catch up to them, but they gotta buy you. You gotta buy you 4 times as much equipment to keep up with them. What do they have you for? I want a guy that can get the same amount of work that those guys get. But we think if we go out and spend money, that's gonna tell it all. Big names, church. If it's a name, we think that that's it because that's our fan base. That's how we are. because we can take that name and then we can. And I said this. I told a Cowboy fan this. We can take that name and then we can go out and talk to other people and we'll carry that name so we can get people off of us because we can say, well, we got that and that's supposed to change the narrative. Or sometimes we'll take ripping Dak Prescott on fans or go out there and talk trash about Dak Prescott to people who are not Cowboy fans so we can make people stop throwing out, because they say something so we can try to get them off us and say, oh, we feel the same way about Dak Prescott. We have no proof. Just get people off our case. It happens. This defensive coordinator, and then Jerry them trying to make these big name gun things because they're trying to get people, attention. So we think that we're gonna sign George Pickens to a top 5 deal. Then we're gonna go trade for Matt Cosby. At $30 million a year on his last couple of years of his deal. And he over 30 years old. Or we're gonna get a Trey Henderson. He well over 30 years old. And pay him for 3 or 4 years at $27-30 million a year. And we're gonna have 4 defensive linemen, if you want to talk about it, at $18 to $20 million. Or we'll trade Clark. We'll release Clark and let him go somewhere and turn around and dog us out somewhere else because he played good defense. No. Because he ain't flashy no more. His name ain't big enough. I don't understand our fan base. And that's what I feel about George Pickens. And then many people might make you upset what I say, but I think George Pickens could be here. I'm saying that we have already done this 2 great wide receiver thing. And the greatest Tony Hill was. If Tony Hill would have got so and so numbers, he was putting up some great numbers. Go check that video out. And the guy explained it well. Great Tony Hill was doing some great things. He understood his place. Drew Pearson still was the man. And Tony Hill helped us a great deal. As great as CD that we done had Amari Cooper and CD Lamb together. Yes. We done had great wide receivers, even Michael Irvin and Alvin Harper. Alvin Harper put up a lot of big plays. But that was his job to put up big plays. But when the ball was in the air to go to get where it went to Michael Irvin. But Alvin Harper made a lot of great plays here. And Alvin Harper was good playing in Dallas beside Michael Irvin in this system with that quarterback. He left that system, that quarterback, that freedom, and we went to Tampa Bay, he went nothing. And he tried to get back to Dallas. George Pickens understands what Dallas is. He understands the lucrative, he loves his teammates. They like him. He understands the lucrative aspects of Dallas. And he should get paid handsomely. But if Devontae Smith could take less and put up numbers after year after year, and we say Devontae Smith ain't come in at no top 5 receiver money, why are we thinking the Pickens should get top 5 receiver money? If the kid from that put up year in and year out and playoff numbers in Cincinnati, not just 1 year, multiple years. If he didn't get top 5 money, why do we think that Pickens should get it? Because he played for Dallas? And so everything goes up because he on America's team? And he's coming from my own fan base. Our own fan base should be like this. George, we like George Pickens. Yes, Jerry, we need to pay him. Yes, but he's not getting that. Like, we ain't gonna be like he's gonna break the bank. Because we can find another number 2 wide receiver if we got some money. We found him. He didn't find us. And every quarter receiver that have come into Dallas, check the stats. Every last one to come into Dallas, the better, because Dak has made them better. I'm not running Pickens off, but all this talk from these people who don't care about the Cowboys, trying to boost the price up, the Cowboys can nip this in the bud by going out and say, hey, this is what we want to offer. If it's $24 million a year, if it's $23 million a year, if it's $80 million guaranteed with a 5-year deal of $100 million, a 5-year deal of $110 million with about $70 million guaranteed, guess what? His ass will take it. Because then you say, okay, go out there and see what the market gonna give you. But once you franchise tag him, now you gonna think he's a what? A top 5 wide receiver. Because that's what you just treated him as. And if you got to go up in price here, go ahead, because I guarantee you this. Every organization gonna say, and I guarantee you they're gonna say this. And if you're smart, you'll say the same thing. Every organization is gonna ask the question: what happened in Pittsburgh? What's the difference in Dallas? And is it gonna be different when he comes to us? How can we pay him? Because there's a difference when we pay him. And are we going to invest $30 million in 150 DeMar Chase contract or a CD Lamb contract into him or a Jefferson contract or a Tariq Hill contract into him? And we got to ask that question? Let's see what the market is going to give it. And if it is the market, I guarantee it's going to be a market or a team that may be not as lucrative or have the quarterback that we got, or have the place where you want to play like we got. But do not restrict this young man from checking the market, because what he needs to see is that all that baggage ain't going nowhere. It's not going to stop you from getting a good payday, but 1 year don't change it until you get a mega payday. I guarantee y'all that. I can tell you that. Y'all can act like that's not the case, but I tell you, every organization gonna ask that question. See, yeah, this is a great question. Great question. What's the number 1 and number 2? What's the difference between number 1 and number 2? Number 1 is gonna get the offense that where they're probably gonna have the most catches because they're gonna get the most targets. But when you got a quality number 2, there might be 4 or 5 games in that year that the number 2 is going to just kill teams because he's going to get big plays. I want my number 2 to make big plays. I want my number 1 to catch. If it's number two, put it like this. Number two should, in the better number twos usually have the bigger, what you call yards per catch. Because number two is not possession. Number two is a strike that hurt you. I always call it like this. And I always use boxing terms when I talk about football. A southpaw, right, could hurt you with that right hook and that straight left hand, right? Can hurt you. His southpaw, because that left hand is his power hand. But he's going to get most of his points with that left hook, that left jab. That's going to be his main thing he's going to use all the time. But when he does use that left hand, it's to knock you out. It's not the patty cake. It's only throwing power punches. When you look at the football team, that left hand, that right hand that's going to get all the work can knock you out if you throw that left hook, hit you with the right hook. Got power in it, but it's going to get more work. But that left hand, when it does get work, it's going for knockouts. That's what your number two should do. When I talk about the great receiving core back when Drew Pearson and Tony Hill always averaged way more yards per catch than Drew Pearson. But Drew Pearson got more receptions. And he got more yards here and there. But Tony Hill always was just the same amount of touchdowns or more. George Pickens is going to be complimentary to he's going to be your bigger wide receiver. He's going to catch some of the slants and the bigger, the places where you don't want a smaller wide receiver to go into. But there's always a pecking order. When anybody say you got two number ones, they're lying. There is a pecking order. I was back in the day when they had John Jefferson and when I keep talking about the Chargers, they had John Jefferson and I forgot the other Charlie Joyner. Both of them should have been Hall of Fame wide receivers. They were great, but Jefferson was the dog. When Duper and Clayton for Miami, they were great, but they did things in different manners. But your number one could probably do way more things. And with Dallas, CeeDee Lamb can run all the routes. He can catch the slant, he can catch the up, he can catch the dig, he can throw the ball to the receiver when running. He can get the screen passes, he can do dirty work, he can catch all those. Pickens is good on certain routes. He showed you that this year. 70% of his 60% of his yards came off what? Slant patterns. When team took away the slant, he kind of had to find his own way. You have a number one. He has showed you year in, year out. One thing again about number one don't have a flash in the pan year. A number one has consistent years because the coverage may change. The other receiver on the other side may change, but he still made numbers. The CeeDee Lamb did that. Every year. If he wasn't hurt this year, he would have another 1,400 yards and would have another. He missed 5 games. When you say missed 5 games, really missed 6 because the first game he came back, he was still limping. And look at his stats. CeeDee Lamb does a year in and year out. That's the number one. Pickens had a chance to be a number one wide receiver in Pittsburgh. They gave him the match. And then they traded him. They brought in an old guy like DK Metcalf. He had it. He's the number two. And him being the number one or number two that's not gonna make us keep him make him go. And then I think for Cowboy fans, we crazy too. We call him number one. All we doing pushing the price up. We killing our own selves. And then we it feels like it's like Jerry them could sign a guy. It makes no difference, It ain't negotiating. We just go out there and sign a guy. The guy that's gonna sign with us with no problem. Man, that's not, man. This thing ain't not negotiating. It takes two to make a deal. Okay, let's let it go. Okay, but great question, man. It causes some panic, man. We got a number one. Pickens is going to be complimentary. We found a very good complimentary receiver, and we found a guy that came in and we utilized him. The offense utilized him, and he caught some passes, some big passes, and got his confidence. And Dak utilized him to we. And look, when Pickens, do we remember when Pickens when Lamb went out, when Pickens went out, and then Florida came in and had a great game. Did anybody talk about now we should pay Florida big money? Or do anybody know that Dak Prescott brings confidence and gives them balls that they can catch? Anybody thought about that? But to recap, we don't know what this defense is going to do. So when we out here talking about these trades, they're going to go in the draft. We got a good nucleus on this team. I just don't think we need to panic. I think we need to work on that defense. Defense is going to be our calling card. We're going to get as far as the defense takes. And if your defense is good enough, you don't need as much offense. I think we want offense to be so we can say we're excited because we're going to, but it's not, we're not going to be a 40 burger offense. And we think we got to score 40 points to win a Super Bowl, then we're not going to win a Super Bowl. Seattle shows you that you can kick field goals. As long as you put points on the board. The complementary football, it's not going to always be pitch it clean, but you got to play a complementary football. That was a great question, man. Any other? I want to see if we got any other. Um, Ginger put it out there, man. The Cash App. Um, thank y'all so much for coming in. This one to step in for a little short period of time. It's kind of late on my side, and I try to get ready to go to work in the morning. But this one to step in, man. I don't, and that's a good recap. I always want to recap. And let me share something with you right quick that I think I wanted to share with you. And then I'm gonna let y'all go. But I want you to share something that I saw on Twitter. I hope y'all can see the screen. Um, I want to share something I saw on Twitter that I wanted y'all to see. And I know it's kind of hard, but let's look at this what I saw on Twitter. And this is what I saw on Twitter. It said, how much cap space can each NFL team free up? This is where I tell you what they call with simple restructures. This means that you got the players under contract, they can go and what we do is convert some of those things into the signing bonus. The Cowboys contracts, all the Cowboys contracts said, all their contracts have this clause in that they can do the simple reconstruction or the reconstruction of the contract without even the players' approval because it doesn't mess up the money that they got, how they're gonna get it paid out the money. So it doesn't mess up their money. They can do it without the players. They can go ahead and say kick the can down the road and change it. Now, what that does do when they do these things, it pushes back the dead cap money back another year. So that makes everything a little bit more out there. Like if okay, if this example, the a contract may have if you got rid of them today, it may be a dead cap hit of $13 million, right? But if you push the contract and puts and converts them signing bonus and push back next year, now you push the can down the road, and now it might be $16 million the next year. What you do is pushing the can down the road. Everybody does that. So they're telling you if the Cowboys is potentially reconstruct, right? Just the simple reconstruction, we can convert that to $131 million. See, what we don't understand about Dak Prescott contract, when all y'all out there, when all these naysayers be out there talking about Dak Prescott got a $60 million contract. Dak Prescott got 4 years on the end of his contract. Yes, the APR average per year is 60 million, but he's got a cap friendly structure to his deal. It's so cap friendly when he does it, he can free up 19, $20 million for the next 3 years, the first 2 years, 3 years of contract for them to sign any player they want. His cap hit is not bad. They can restructure. He got the deal where, yes, it gave him the APR. Yes, he got some good guaranteed money, but he structured his deal in such a way that they can just kick a switch and free up a lot of money. All the contracts that they signed, that's why they went and signed Tyler Smith early. That's why they went and signed Ferguson. That's why they went and signed CeeDee Lamb. All those contracts right now, they can kick a switch on them, right? And free up money. Even Terrence Steele, they can free. Terrence Steele contract is not a bad contract. I think somebody posted the other day one of the guys, one of the offense of a good guru. Terrence Steele did not. I keep saying Terrence Smith. Terrence Steele. Terrence Steele did not have a bad year this year. People all that he had a bad year. No, he didn't. He had some hiccups here and there in the pass blocking, but what type of dunk? He's a dominant run player, type of run play of what name, and him giving up some pressures and what as much as we threw the football, him giving up 5 or 6 sacks this year, probably out of 900,000 attempts. And then when we look at some of those sacks were not because of Terrence Steele. Some of them was cover sacks. So that's gonna be all this. There's no way that they can watch film and say that they totally unhappy with Terrence Steele. And I think they got the other guy there because he played well in practice, and they wanted to make sure he got out there and played. But they can kick the can down the road on Terrence Steele contract. This is not a bad contract from start with. So when they talk about the Cowboys are so behind in the salary cap, no, they're not. They're not. And guess what? The Cowboys, listen, man, when they talk about their budget, the Cowboys knew where they were going to be at this year. They knew what they were going to have to do. They already planned this out. They have always said that they're not going to put themselves in cap hell. So they already knew where the plan was with this already. They already knew what they're going to do. They already have their plan about how they're going to free up the money and when they're going to free up the money. They already got their plan for that. So don't get, oh, what they gonna do? They already listen, man. They ain't get to this way thinking 2 days within 2 days. I said I wanted to show you this, but this is the show that I want y'all to go. This is on my Twitter account. For people who follow me on Twitter, people who follow on my YouTube channel now, go to Twitter at Coach Marv 1914. That's me on Twitter. Um, this is the post that I put up by Tony Hill, and I said Tony Hill was better than you thought. That's what the Logic Cowboy is the one that showed that did this show, right? Logic Cowboy. Go to his thing, click on that link, watch that, and make sure that you like and subscribe to Logic Cowboy. He is an excellent YouTuber. He does an excellent job with these cowboys. Go to his catalog. I'm gonna try to reach out to him, man, because there's a lot of stuff that we could talk about, man. He talks about a lot of great stuff. Go to this guy, subscribe, and watch his videos, man. There you can learn a lot about cowboy history. I think if y'all learn the history, y'all will see this. A lot of stuff that we happen, regardless if it's the Jerry's, it's just the Dallas way. It's just how Dallas does things. So it's not to get too alarmed about that. That's me like on live now, but and here's my other live here, but this is one of the guys live got 2.8 thousand views. It got a lot of comments alike, and it got a lot of comments about my thing about the dominating defense, and we don't need, maybe we don't necessarily need Pickens to win at a $230 million wide receivers. And a lot of people got in my case talking about, well, you're gonna take offense. And those people, and I'm not saying bad things about them, but if we still are talking football and the essence of football, they into this a whole nother realm. Let me tell y'all something about football. Don't believe nobody pass the ball and say we'll run the ball when you force us to run the ball. That's not how New England got there. That's not how the Seattle got there. So if you tell me if those two teams can dominate, they ain't have Denver got to be the number one seed. They ain't how San Francisco got there. If you tell me most of these teams in the NFL got there by being physical and not just throwing the ball around and say, "Oh, we got to do it," and they get to deep in the playoffs, and then you telling me that you got to go a different way, and none of the teams that's in the deep in the playoffs play like you say we should play. Why did we should do something totally different than what all the other teams are winning with? Does that make sense? What logic? Tell me logical where that comes from. Everybody else playing complimentary physical football, but we want to play. We need to have more wide receivers. I just, and I ain't saying that we don't need Pickens, but I just don't understand the logic when we have people talking about, well, you just run the ball when somebody tell you, you get to the point we just have to run the ball when they. I don't understand that. Harvey Martin, another one post. Harvey Martin should be in. That's another big miss of being in the Super Bowl. I mean, being in the Hall of Fame. Harvey Martin is definitely a Hall of Fame. Learn your know your Cowboys history. You learn your Cowboy history, you'll be very well abreast to be able to say, um, I learned my Cowboy history, and that's why I know what we're doing as an organization. Learn your Cowboy history, and you'll know what you're doing as an organization. Thank y'all again, man, for the 14 people that came in. Some of the people was on Twitter, some of the people that came in and comment. I hope y'all like, comment, subscribe. I need y'all to do a favor for me. I don't know how we're gonna do it. We need to try to reach this out so we need to get that another 160 subscribers to get over the 1,000 mark so we can get to the next level of monetization. We're gonna keep putting videos out. We're gonna start doing some other videos about some other things because we're gonna talk a lot of sports, but we're gonna talk about it. Well, let's be patient, Cowboy Nation, and let's not jump on every story because most of the stories are fake news. I hate to say it that way, it's fake news, and they just putting stories out there because no, we're gonna jump on. I'd like to thank y'all again for your time. I always say this: no one or nothing can stop God's will. And for us to win this year, defense has to be a weapon. If this gets into, if somebody says this with DallasCowboys.com, listen, Coach Parker, defensive staff, Shoddy, uh, defensive players, Coach Marv is coming up with t-shirts. It's going to say defense is a weapon in Dallas. Defense must be a weapon in Dallas. We're not taking second fiddle to nobody. We're going to lead this team from the front. Defense is a weapon in Dallas. So that's what's going to be our mantra when we go on, and that's what we're going to preach. Defense is a weapon in Dallas, and that's what we're going to preach that, and we're going and this is the mantra right here. This is the mantra right here. This is the mantra right here. This is where we're going to start building. Defense is a weapon in Dallas. And this is what this is the mantra that I want our defense to take going into this year. I hope that we'll be able to get these shirts to someone in Dallas. I hope that if God is willing, that somehow that Coach Marv gets blessed with something, that I can be in training camp in Oxnard, and I can have the whole world wearing these shirts and get this shirt where this defense takes over. I know they talk about hot boys. No, we're going to talk about what the mentality of this defense needs to be to win a championship. We're going to preach about what this defense needs to win a championship. And this mantra that's on this screen should be the mantra for this defense. I'm calling Coach Parker. I'm calling the coaches that's on this staff. I'm calling the head coach on this staff, the defensive players on this staff, everybody associated with the Cowboys, that defense is a weapon in Dallas. So when we talk about getting weapons, when we talk about getting wide receiver, when we talk about getting running back, no, we got a weapon. And it's called defense. Because defense was a weapon in Seattle. Defense was a weapon in Texas. Defense was a weapon in Denver. Defense was a weapon in New England. Defense is going to be a weapon in Dallas. Defense has always been a weapon in Dallas for us to win Super Bowls. The same defensive weapon against the Denver Broncos got seven turnovers against the Denver Broncos. The same defensive weapons got things what 8, 9 turnovers, 7, 8, 9 turnovers against the Buffalo Bills. And we would have scored 3 or 4 touchdowns. The same defensive weapon turned the game around in our second Super Bowl when we won 30-13 against the greatest offense, one of the greatest offenses in Super Bowl history. The Buffalo Bills. We kept that offense to 30 points in 2 games. Where our defense almost scored as many points that they scored in 2 games. So yes, we had the triplets. Yes, we had Emmitt Smith. Yes, we had Michael Irvin. Yes, we had Jay Novacek. Yes, we had Alvin Harper. Yes, we had Troy Aikman. Yes, we had Roger Staubach. Yes, we had Tony Dorsett. Yes, we had Tony Hill. Great offensive line, Robin Newhouse, Preston Pearson. But guess what? In the biggest games, defense was the weapon. So in Dallas this year, this is what y'all should be posting. Y'all should be posting Coach Marv mantra for the defense for the Cowboys this year. Get this word out. When you repost this video, say, Coach Marv, look at this video. But the real message is defense is a weapon in Dallas. It's a must. And if we start thinking like that, we get the masses start thinking about that way and stop all these crazy thing about we need to go get this guy. We need to send Jordan Peak to 30 minutes. Listen, George will come with me along, but make sure we like, subscribe, and comment and share this. And we share the mantra. Defense is a weapon in Dallas. It must be. It has to be. And it's got to come with attitude. Because we're going as far as that unit takes us. Thank y'all so much for coming in. Thank y'all for sending me stuff. If you want to cash out the program, it would be greatly appreciated, man, so we can try to continue to keep and get some more intros and all that stuff, man. This is the cash app. If you want to cash app the show, it'd be great. We're gonna try to make sure that we'll be going on. Sometime we may go on sometime this week, but it's the Valentine's weekend, so I'm gonna travel, and I'm gonna spend some time with my honey, uh, for Valentine's weekend, and we're gonna enjoy ourselves for Valentine's weekend, and then we'll come back and get back to work next week. Um, pushing with sports, but defense is a weapon. Remember, as I said again, no one or nothing can stop God's will. Until next time, thank you for your support. Salute. We out. Peace.